My final days in Cambodia were bittersweet. On my way back into Phnom Penh, the cloudless skies suddenly closed in on me and I was caught in a massive rainstorm. I pulled into shelter by a roadside shop and was immediately adopted. The lady came and told me that she liked the look of my face and that I would be like her daughter. As I sat there drinking a beer and watching the rain thunder down, she got her nephew or her son or her grandson, I don't know who he was, but he was this sweet-faced 17-year-old and very shy, and she dragged him in and made him translate for us. It was one of those hilarious moments. I could tell that he was embarrassed, but he was also such a good kid, he would do whatever she wanted. When the rain stopped, I carried on, but this time I was on the main road again, and I got caught up in this wonderful maze of Cambodian roadworks. So, massive highway, divided road, except there's traffic going both directions on both sides of the divide. Your brain starts going a million miles an hour as you try to calculate where exactly you should ride with the least chance of A, falling in a massive construction pit, and B, being run over by head-on traffic. It turns out that my concerns were well founded because I very soon came across the carnage of two scooters which appeared to have T-boned each other. As you can see, it is absolutely as clear as mud where everybody is supposed to be driving. So here we go, accident scene upcoming. I think it's fine, I think everyone is okay, but there are enough police standing around that I don't need to stop and get involved. So I carry on, still wondering where the heck I'm supposed to be driving. Eventually, however, I reach a point where I truly can no longer continue on this side of the road. Time to backtrack to one of the gaps in the divider and start riding the wrong way up the wrong side of the road. What could possibly go wrong? Now, if you've been following my Cambodian adventures, you probably have noticed that most traffic in Cambodia has very little regard for the presence of motorcycles, even if you're on the correct side of the road in exactly the spot you're supposed to be. So riding up the wrong side of the road as a motorcycle is really quite exciting. Up until very recently, it was actually illegal to have your lights on while driving or riding during the day in Cambodia. But today, I do not care. I have traffic coming towards me. I cannot move over to my right any further, and so I have my spotlights blazing. Just at this very moment, as far as I am concerned, the more like a Christmas tree I look, the less likely I am to be run over. If I had little red and green flashing fairy lights, I'd be using those too. But it's all good, the traffic is actually very, very light and quite mild-mannered today, so spoiler alert, I didn't actually die at all. Eventually, the right side of the road became rideable again, I moved on over, there we go, and everything was great. And by great, I mean I continued riding into Phnom Penh and got stuck in another massive thunderstorm. But not to worry, I'm not made out of sugar, I won't melt. In fact, after an entire month riding around Cambodia with unseasonal storms, I still hadn't gotten around to buying any kind of rain gear. I kept meaning to drop into a little store and buy one of those disposable plastic ponchos that everybody wears here. But I would always forget when it wasn't raining, and when it was raining, I would never be in the right place at the right time. Of course, I do have a very nice little rain jacket in Thailand, but thinking about April weather in Cambodia, I just never thought to bring it along. Usually April in Cambodia is hot as hell and dry as a bone, but look up ahead, check out that storm waiting for me over the city. This year, like I say, the rainy season came a little early. Now, as I sit here and let those big trucks roll on by, you may be thinking that my motorcycling roadcraft sucks and I should have gotten ahead of the traffic. Look, that might be true, but also, look at how happy and zen I am these days. I'm not even angry enough to fight with the trucks. Honestly, I'm really feeling pretty awesome. I don't particularly like pina coladas and getting caught in the rain, but it could definitely be worse. What I do like is cheese. I don't know what's wrong with me right now, but I have the most earth shattering craving for cheese right now. Cheese culture is not really that big in Cambodia, and the other day I actually tried to order a cheese toasty, and this is how it went. So I ordered a cheese toasty and it came via Grab, and I'm out here in the village, and the contents of the cheese toasty are full on salad. Some It's not cheese, it's really sweet. Something masquerading as cheese with a lot of sugar in it. Sweet corn and pork floss and some kind of sausage like situation. It's completely random. It's the most random cheese toasty I've ever had, but hey, when in Rome. So by the time I was rolling into Phnom Penh, my cheese cravings were in overdrive. People sometimes say to me, they say, "You've been away for 5 years from Australia. What do you miss?" And honestly, the answer is usually I miss wine, cheese, and dairy products. So, cheese cravings, my lord. Now, I know this is extremely bourgeois of me, but oh my goodness, I have vices, and cheese is one of them. I was also feeling pretty damn celebratory. It had been a rad month in Cambodia. I had an amazing time. I had a few adventures. I didn't die. Everything had gone pretty damn awesome. And in honor of that, the first thing I did when I rolled back into Phnom Penh was buy myself a lump of cheese. Yes, a lump of cheese. I went to a place that I knew had locally made Cambodian cheese, and I ordered a lump of cheese and a glass of Prosecco because celebrations. The place was run by some lovely French people who made said cheese in French style, and they looked at me like I was mad. "Do you want some bread with that?" they asked. "No, no," I said, "it's fine. I just want my cheese." And I sat there and I ate my cheese and I drank my Prosecco, and I was the happiest person on earth. What a trip. Soon I was back in the airport and flying to Bangkok. Like I mentioned before, I have a tour to run which I am super excited about. Now, landing in Bangkok, I just caught the very tail end of Thailand's rules about how you had to quarantine for 24 hours and wait for the result of your PCR test. They didn't give you a choice, you had to have one of these special hotels, and so I booked the cheapest special hotel I could find. And it turned out to be a pretty damn fine hotel. Check out the view. And as you can see, I am not in my natural habitat today. There's no dirt, no motorcycles, and nothing particularly shady at all. It's all extremely civilized. It's so civilized, I hardly know myself. Anyway, I am in this very swanky hotel room in Bangkok, and the reason is Thailand has this test and go scheme where you fly in and then you have to quarantine for up to 24 hours while you wait for the results of your PCR test, which you do on arrival. Now, I want to reassure you that if you want to come to Thailand, you do not have to go through this whole palaver. So, the last day of this scheme is the 30th of April 2022. And as of 1 May 2022, you do not have to quarantine for 24 hours. You do not have to have the special quarantine hotel, the special pickup, the PCR test. None of that stuff applies. So from the 1st of May, all you need to do is you need to apply online for this Thailand Pass. And that just means you need to provide your documentation, so your passport and your vaccination details and your insurance details. And then basically they give you a little QR code and you are good to go. It is obviously not the 1st of May yet on the date that I am recording this. I have unluckily just scraped through into the very, very final days of this scheme. So that's a little bit of a pity because I would not have minded saving the money that I have had to spend on this quarantine scheme. But, there's worse things that could happen in life. So I'm just going to smile and enjoy my bathtub and get on with it. got my negative COVID results, and the next day I was on my domestic flight up to Chiang Mai again. And a few hours after that, I was enjoying the beautiful mountain light in the aftermath of a summer storm burst. Look at this place. Welcome home.